Più di 40 anni fa la navicella Enterprise decollava sugli schermi televisivi di mezzo mondo. Un lungo viaggio che ha visto la sua ultima incarnazione cinematografica nel film del 2009 di J.J. Abrams. Roger Guyllet ci racconta cosa è cambiato in tutto questo tempo per Star Trek e soprattutto per il mondo degli effetti speciali.
Right. How's making movies changed, really, as far as visual effects? Unbelievably. I mean, there's been an enormous change in the way movies are made, really, in terms of visual effects even in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. And as filmmakers, it's a lot easier to make those kinds of movies than it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago when they were making the original series. Most of the technology in the new movie is digital. We didn't actually use very many miniatures. 30 years ago, people would have shot a model of a spaceship. That's the way that they would do something like that. Nowadays, we can do it on a computer.
Per un esperto di effetti speciali è più stimolante lavorare in feature film, cioè interagendo con attori in carne e ossa, o nel mondo dell'animazione?
I mean, it is tempting to believe that you can achieve anything in visual effects, which is true. But of course, everything that you do, it costs some money. Someone has to pay for it, and more often than not, imagination comes out of, being a little bit more, having to think with some more constraints, where you may have less money, and how do you improvise and use your imagination to create something? And there's a big difference between a movie nowadays that might have thousands of effect shots, and if you looked at the original, say even the Jurassic Park, really only has less than 100 shots.
Guyllet ha celebrato da poco il 15° anno di lavoro all'Industrial Light and Magic. Cosa si aspetta dai prossimi 15 anni?
Well, certainly, I was lucky enough to be, involved in this business, and I've seen a tremendous amount of change in this business in the last 15 years. The next 15, yeah, I'm sure there'll be, equally as many changes. I mean, certainly in the last few years, it's a very global business now, and the level of communication between people has allowed us to work with people all over the world very, very easily. That's certainly something that's happened in the last couple of years. And then, as computers get faster and faster, you can solve more and more complicated problems. And in the last 2 or 3 years, we've been able to achieve things like realistic water, in movies, and realistic fire. If you look at Harry Potter, the latest Harry Potter, it has very realistic fire in it. Those kinds of things just require a lot of computing, a lot of computers and a lot of computing power, and that's really changed the business. So I think as computers get faster, you'll see improvements in the level of reality.